taketh no heed of that which is not, and of that which is. Absence exalteth love, and presence exalteth love. Love moveth from height to height of ecstasy, and faileth never. The wings of love droop not with time, nor slacken for life or for death. Love destroyeth self, uniting self with that which is not self, so that love breedeth all and none in one. Is it not so? No? Then thou art not lost in love. Speak not of love. Love always yieldeth. Love always hardeneth. Maybe I write it, but to write her name. Chapter 29, The Southern Cross. Love, I love you. Night, night, cover us. Thou art night, O my love, and there are no stars but thine eyes. Dark night, sweet night, so warm and yet so fresh, so scented, yet so whole. Cover me, cover me. Let me be no more. Let me be thine. Let me be thou. Let me be neither thou nor I. Let there be love in night and night in love. N-O-X, the night of Pan, and Layla, the night before his threshold. Chapter 30, Jhana Dreams. Dreams are imperfections of sleep. Even so is consciousness the imperfection of waking. Dreams are impurities in the circulation of the blood. Even so is consciousness a disorder of life. Dreams are without proportion, without good sense, without truth. So also is consciousness. Awake from dreaming, the truth is known. Awake from waking, the truth is the unknown. Chapter 31, The Garret. It moves from motion into rest, and rest from rest into motion. These it does always, for time is not. So that it does neither of these things. It does that one thing which we must express by two things, neither of which possesses any rational meaning. Yet its doing, which is no doing, is simple and yet complex, is neither free nor necessary, for all these ideas express relation, and it, comprehending all relation in its simplicity, is out of all relation, even with itself. All this is true and false, and it is true and false to say that it is true and false. Strain forth thy intelligence, O man, O worthy one, O chosen of it, to apprehend the discourse of the Master. For thus thy reason shall at last break down, as the fetter is struck from the slave's throat. Chapter 32, The Mountaineer. Consciousness is a symptom of disease. All that moves well, moves without will. All skillfulness, all strain, all intention is contrary to ease. Practice 1,000 times, and it becomes difficult. 1,000, and it becomes easy. 1,000 times 1,000, and it is no longer thou that doeth it, but it that doeth itself through thee. Nor until then is that which is done well done. Thus spoke Freighter Père Durabo, as he leapt from rock to rock of the moraine, without ever casting his eyes upon the ground. Chapter 33, Baphomet. The black two-headed eagle is God, even a black triangle is he. In his claw he beareth the sword, yea, a sharp sword is held therein. This eagle is burnt up in the great fire, yet not a feather is scorched. This eagle was swallowed up in the great sea, yet not a feather is wet. So flieth he in the air, and lighteth upon the earth at his pleasure. So spake Iacobus, Burgundus, Bolensis, the Grand Master of the temple, and of the god that is ass-headed, did he dare not speak. Chapter 34, The Smoking Dog. Each act of man is the twist and double of a hair. Love and death are the greyhounds that course him. God bred the hounds and taketh his pleasure in the sport. This is the comedy of man, that man should think he hunteth, while those hounds hunt him. This is the tragedy of man, when facing love and death he turns to bay. He is no more hare, but boar. There are no other comedies or tragedies. Cease then to be the mockery of God, and savagery of love and death and die. Thus shall his laughter be thrilled through with ecstasy. Chapter 35. Venus of Milo. Life is as ugly and necessary as the female body. Death is as beautiful and necessary as the male body. The soul is beyond male and female, as it is beyond life and death. Even as the lingam and the yoni are the diverse developments of one organ, so also are life and death but two phases of one state. So also the absolute and the conditioned are but forms of that. What do I love? There is no form, no being, to which I do not give myself wholly up. Take me who will. Chapter 36. The Star Sapphire. Let the adept be armed with his magic robe, and provide him with his mystic rose. In the center, let him give the LVX signs, or if he know them, if he will and dare do them, and can keep silent about them, the signs of NOX, being the signs of Puer, Fear, Puella, Mulier. Omit the sign IR. Then let him advance to the east, and make the holy hexagram, saying, Pater et Mater, unus Deus Ararita. Let him go round to the south, make the holy hexagram, and say, Mater et Filius, unus Deus Ararita. Let him go round to the west, make the holy hexagram, and say, Filius et Filia, unus Deus Ararita. Let him go round to the north, make the holy hexagram, and then say, Filia et Pater unus Deus Ararita. Let him then return to the center, and so to the center of all, making the rosy cross, as he may know how, saying, Ararita, Ararita, Ararita. In this the signs shall be those of Set triumphant and of battlement. Also shall Set appear at the circle. Let him drink of the sacrament, and let him communicate the same. Then let him say, Omnia in duos, duo in unum, unus in nihil, haec nec quator, nec omnia, nec duo, nec unus, nec nihil sunt. Gloria Patri et Matri et Filio, et Filiae et Spiritui Sancto. Externo et Spiritui Sancto. Interno ut erat est erit in saecula, saeculorum sex in uno per nomen septum, in uno erarita. Let him then repeat the signs of LVX, but not the signs of NOX, for it is not he that shall arise in the sign of Isis rejoicing. Chapter 37. Dragons. Thought is the shadow of the eclipse of Luna. Samadhi is the shadow of the eclipse of Sol. The moon and the earth are the non-ego and the ego. The sun is that. Both eclipses are darkness. Both are exceedingly rare. The universe itself is light. Chapter 38. Landscape. Cowan Skidoo, Tyre. Swear to Ile all. This is the mystery. Life. Mine is the traitor. Slay mine. Let the corpse of mine lie unburied on the edge of the great sea. Death. This is the mystery. Tile. Cowan Skidoo. Chapter 39. The Luby. Only Lubies find excellence in these words. It is unthinkable that A is not A. To reverse this is but to revert to the normal. Yet by forcing the brain to accept propositions, of which one set is absurdity, the other truism, a new function of brain is established. Vague and mysterious and all indefinite are the contents of this new consciousness. Yet they are somehow vital. By use, they become luminous. Unreason becomes experience. This lifts the leaden-footed soul of the experience of that, of which reason is the blasphemy. But without the experience, these words are the lies of a Luby. Yet a Luby to thee, and a ruby to me, a Balacius ruby to God may be. Chapter 40. The Highmaw. The red rose absorbs all color to the red. Red is therefore the one color that is not. This law, reason, time, space, all limitation blinds us to the truth. All that we know of man, nature, God, is just that which they are not. It is that which they throw off as repugnant. The Highmaw is only visible insofar as he is imperfect. Then are they all glorious glorious who seem not to be glorious, as the high mog is all glorious within? It may be so. How then distinguish the inglorious and perfect high mog from the inglorious man of earth? Distinguish not, but thyself extinguish. High mog thou art, and high mog shall thou be. Chapter 41, Corned Beef Hash. In V is the great work perfect. Therefore, none is that pertaineth not to V. In many may he manifest, yet in one hath he chosen to manifest. And this one hath given his ring as a seal of authority to the work of the AA, through the callings of freighter paired rabble. But this concerns themselves and their administration. It concerneth none below the grade of exempt adept, and such an one only by command. Also, since below the abyss reason is Lord, let men seek by experiment, and not by questions. Chapter 42, Dust Devils. In the wind of the mind arises the turbulence called I. It breaks. Down shower the barren thoughts. All life is choked. This desert is the abyss, wherein is the universe. The stars are but thistles in that waste. Yet this desert is but one spot accursed in the world of bliss. Now and again travelers cross the desert. They come from the great sea, and to the great sea they go. As they go, they spill the water. One day they will irrigate the desert till it flower. See, 5 footprints of a camel. V. Chapter 43, Mulberry Tops. Black blood upon the altar, and the rustle of angel wings above. Black blood of the sweet fruit, the bruise, the violated bloom, that setteth the wheel a-spinning in the spire. Death is the veil of life, and life of death. Both are God's. This is that which is written, a feast for life, and a greater feast for death, in the book of the law. The blood is the life of the individual. Offer then blood. Chapter 44, The Mass of the Phoenix. The magician, his breast bare, stands before an altar, on which are his burr, bell, thurible, and 2 of the cakes of light. In the sign of the emperor, he reaches west across the altar, and cries, Hail, Ra, that goest in thy bark, into the caverns of the dark. He gives the sign of silence, and takes the bell and fire in his hands. East of the altar see me stand, with light and music in mine hand. He strikes 11 times upon the bell. 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 3, 3, and places the fire in the thurible. I strike the bell, I light the flame, I utter the mysterious name, Abrahadabra. He strikes 11 times upon the bell. Now I begin to pray, thou child, holy thy name and undefiled. Thy reign is come, thy will is done. Here is the bread, here is the blood. Bring me through midnight to the sun. Save me from evil and from good. Take thy 1 crown of all the 10. Even now and here be mine. Amen. He puts the first cake in the fire of the thurible. I burn the incense cake, proclaim these adorations of thy name. He makes them as a liber legis. Strikes again 11 times on the bell. With the burren, he then makes upon his breast the proper sign. Behold this bleeding breast of mine, gashed with the sacramental sign. He puts the second cake to the wound. I staunch the blood, the wafer soaks, if up in the high priest invokes. He eats the second cake. This bread I eat, this oath I swear, as I inflame myself with prayer. There is no grace, there is no guilt. This is the law. Do what thou wilt. He strikes 11 times upon the bell, and cries, Abrahadabra. I enter it then with woe and mirth, and now go forth and with thanksgiving, to do my pleasure on the earth, among the legions of the living. He goeth forth. Chapter 45, Chinese Music. Explain this happening. It must have a natural cause. It must have a supernatural cause. Let these 2 acids be set to grind corn. May, might, must, should, probably, may be. We may safely assume, ought. It is hardly questionable, almost certain. For 4 acts, and let them be turned out to grass. Proof is only possible in mathematics, and mathematics is only a matter of arbitrary conventions. And yet doubt is a good servant, but a bad master, a perfect mistress, but a nagging wife. White is the lash of the overseer. White is black is the watchword of the slave. The master takes no heed. The Chinese cannot help thinking that the octave has 5 notes. The more necessary anything appears to my mind, the more certain it is that I only assert a limitation. I slept with faith and found a corpse in my arms on waking. I drank and danced all night with doubt, and found her a virgin in the morning. Chapter 46. Buttons and Rosettes. The cause of sorrow is the desire of the one to the many, or of the many to the one. This also is the cause of joy. But the desire of one to another is all of sorrow. Its birth is hunger, and its death satiety. The desire of the moth to the star at least saves him satiety. Hunger thou, O man, for the infinite, the insatiable even for the finite. Thus, at the end, shalt thou devour the finite, and become the infinite. Be thou more greedy than the shark, more full of yearning than the wind among the pines. The weary pilgrim struggles on, the satiated pilgrim stops. The road winds uphill. All law, all nature must be overcome. Do this by virtue of that in thyself, before which law and nature are but shadows. Chapter 47. Windmill Words. Asana gets rid of anatomy consciousness. Pranayama gets rid of physiology consciousness. Involuntary breaks. Yama and Nayama get rid of ethical consciousness. Voluntary breaks. Pratyahara gets rid of the objective. Dharana gets rid of the subject. Dhyana gets rid of the ego. Samadhi gets rid of the soul impersonal. Asana destroys the static body, Nama. Pranayama destroys the dynamic body, Rupa. Yama destroys the emotions. Niyama destroys the passions, Vedana. Dharana destroys the perceptions, Sana. Dhyana destroys the tendencies, Sankara. Samadhi destroys the consciousness, Vinanam. Omar Dalla Thermidor destroys the digestion. The last of these facts is the one of which I am most certain. Chapter 38. Mome Wraths. The early bird catches the worm, and the 12-year-old prostitute attracts the ambassador. Neglect not the dawn meditation. The first plover's eggs fetch the highest prices. The flower of virginity is esteemed by the pandar. Neglect not the dawn meditation. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. But late to watch and early to pray brings him across the abyss, they say. Neglect not the dawn meditation. Chapter 49. Warata Blossoms. 7 are the veils of the dancing girl in the harem of it. 7 are the names, and 7 are the lamps beside her bed. 7 eunuchs guard her with drawn swords. No man may come nigh unto her. In her wine cup are 7 streams of the blood of the 7 spirits of God. 7 are the heads of the beast, whereupon she rides. The head of an angel, the head of a saint, the head of a poet, the head of an adulterous woman, the head of a man of valor, the head of a satyr, and the head of a lion serpent. 7 letters hath her holiest name, and it is. Narrator's note. Crowley here illustrates a seal of a 7-pointed star. Beginning from the westmost point, each point of the star contains a letter, spelling the name of Babylon. In the center of the star is the Greek symbol for theta. Crosses extend from its western, northern, and eastern boundaries. To the left of the westmost cross is the number 77. To the left of the northmost cross is the number 7. To the right of the northmost cross is the number 7. To the right of the eastmost cross is the number 77. By itself, at the southernmost boundary of theta, is the number 7. This is the seal upon the ring that is on the forefinger of it, and it is the seal upon the tombs of them whom she hath slain. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of Our Lady, for it is the number of a woman, and her number is 156. Chapter 50. The Vigil of St. Hubert. In the forest, God met the stag beetle. Hold, worship me, quoth God, For I am all great, all good, all wise. The stars are but sparks from the forges of my smiths. Yea, verily, and amen, said the stag beetle. All this do I believe, and that devoutly. Then why do you not worship me? Because I am real, and you are only imaginary. But the leaves of the forest rustled with the laughter of the wind. Said wind and wood, they neither of them know anything. End of chapter 0 through 50. The Book of Lies by Aleister Crowley, chapters 51 through 91. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 51. Terrier Work. Doubt. Doubt thyself. Doubt even if thou doubtest thyself. Doubt all. Doubt even if thou doubtest all. It seems sometimes as if beneath all conscious doubt there lay some deepest certainty. Oh, kill it. Slay the snake. The horn of the doubt goat be exalted. Dive deeper, ever deeper, into the abyss of mind, until thou unearth the fox that. On, hounds, yoinks, tally-ho, bring that to bay. Then wind the mort. Chapter 52. The Bull Baiting. 411 books wrote I. In each did I expound the great work fully, from the beginning, even unto the end thereof. Then at last came certain men unto me, saying, O Master, expound thou the great work unto us, O Master. And I held my peace. O generation of gossipers, who shall deliver you from the wrath that is fallen upon you? O babblers, prattlers, talkers, loquacious ones, tattlers, chewers of the red rag that inflameth apiece the Redeemer to fury. Learn first what is work, and the great work is not so far beyond. Chapter 53. The Douser. Once round the meadow, brother does the hazel twig dip. Twice round the meadow, brother does the hazel twig dip. Thrice round the paddock, highly, lowly, wily, holy, dip, dip, dip. Then neighed the horse in the paddock, and lo, its wings. For whoso findeth the spring beneath the earth, maketh the treaders of earth to course the heavens. This spring is threefold, of water, but also of steel, and of seasons. Also this paddock is the toad that hath the jewel between his eyes. Aum mani padmen hum. Keep us from evil. Chapter 54. Eavesdroppings. 45 apprentice masons out of work. 15 fellow craftsmen out of work. 3 master masons out of work. All these sat on their haunches, waiting the report of the sojourner, for the word was lost. This is the report of the sojourners. The word was love, and its number is 111. Then said each Amo, for its number is 111. Each took the trowel from his lap, whose number is 111. Each called moreover on the goddess Nina, for her number is 111. Yet with all this went the work awry, for the word of the law is Thelema. Chapter 55. The Drooping Sunflower. The one thought vanished. All my mind was torn to rags. Nay, my head was mashed into wood pulp, and thereon the daily newspaper was printed. Thus wrote I, since my one love was torn from me. I cannot work. I cannot think. I seek distraction here. I seek distraction there. But this is all my truth, that I who love have lost, and how may I regain? I must have money to get to America. O mage, sage, gauge thy wage, or in the page of thine age is written rage. O my darling, we should not have spent 90 pounds in that 3 weeks in Paris. Slash the brakes on thine arms with a pole axe. Chapter 56. Trouble with Twins. Holy, 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 unto 555 times holy be Our Lady of the Stars. Holy, 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 unto 156 times holy be Our Lady that rideth upon the beast. Holy, 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 unto the number of times necessary and appropriate be Our Lady Isis in her millions of names, all Mother, Genetrix, Meretrix. Yet holier than all these to me is Layla, night and death, For her do I blaspheme alike the finite and the infinite. So wrote not Frater Perdurabo, but the imp Crowley in his name. For forgery, let him suffer penal servitude for 7 years, or at least let him do pranayama all the way home. Home? Nay, but to the house of the harlot whom he loveth not. For it is Layla that he loveth, and yet who knoweth which is Crowley, and which is Frater Perdurabo? Chapter 57. The Duck-Billed Platypus. Dirt is matter in the wrong place. Thought is mind in the wrong place. Matter is mind, so thought is dirt. Thus argued he, the wise one, not mindful that all place is wrong. For not until the place is perfected by a T, saith he, placet. The rose uncrucified droppeth its petals. Without the rose, the cross is a dry stick. Worship then the rosy cross, and the mystery of 2 in 1. And worship him that swore by his holy T, that one should not be one, except in so far as it is 2. I am glad that Layla is afar. No doubt clouds love. Chapter 58. A Guy Howlings. Haggard am I, an hyena. I hunger and howl. Men think it laughter. Ha, ha, ha. There is nothing movable or immovable under the firmament of heaven, on which I may write the symbols of the secret of my soul. Yea, though I were lowered by ropes into the utmost caverns and vaults of eternity, there is no word to express even the first whisper of the initiator in mine ear. Yea, I abhor birth, ululating lamentations of night. Agony, agony, the light within me breathes veils, the song within be dumbness. God, in what prism may any man analyze my light? Immortal are the adepts, and yet they die. They die of shame unspeakable. They die as the gods die, for sorrow. Wilt thou endure unto the end, O Frater Perdurabo, O lamp in the abyss? Thou hast the keystone of the royal arch, yet the apprentices, instead of making bricks, put the straws in their hair, and think they are Jesus Christ. O sublime tragedy and comedy of the great work. Chapter 59. The Tailless Monkey. There is no help but hotchpot in the skies, when Asticus sees crabs and lobsters rise. Man that has spine and hopes of heaven to be, lacks the amoeba's immortality. What protoplasm gains in mobile mirth is loss of the stability of earth. Matter and sense and mind have had their day. Nature presents the bill, and all must pay. If, as I am not, I were free to choose, how Buddhahood would battle with the booze. My certainty that destiny is good rests on its picking me for Buddhahood. Were I a drunkard, I should think I had good evidence that fate was bloody bad. Chapter 60. The Wound of Amfortas. The self-mastery of Percival became the self-masturbatory of the bourgeois. Virtus has become virtue. The qualities which have made a man, a race, a city, a caste, must be thrown off. Death is the penalty of failure. As it is written, in the hour of success sacrifice that which is dearest to thee, unto the infernal gods. The Englishman lives upon the excrement of his forefathers. All moral codes are worthless in themselves. Yet in every new code there is hope, provided always that the code is not changed because it is too hard, but because it is fulfilled. The dead dog floats with the stream. In Puritan France, the best women are harlots. In vicious England, the best women are virgins. If only the Archbishop of Canterbury were to go naked in the streets and beg his bread. The new Christ, like the old, is the friend of publicans and sinners, because his nature is ascetic. Oh, if every man did no matter what, provided that it is the one thing that he will not and cannot do. Chapter 61. The Fool's Knot. O fool, begetter of both I and not, resolve this knotty knot. O, I, this I and O, I owe, for I owe, I, to Nibbana Zo. I pay, the dissolution of the house of God, for pay comes after O, after Ayin that triumphs over Aleph in Ein, that is O. Opus, the work, the opening of the eye. Thou naughty boy, thou openest the eye of Horus to the blind eye that weeps. The upright one in thine uprightness rejoiceth. Death to all fishes. Chapter 62. Twig. The phoenix hath a bell for sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, 2 cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset, when earth life fades. He summons the universe, and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto, and give homage to, Ra Hor Kuit.
Yo.
Hello.
Perfect. I'm still not over the fact that Elon has called himself Cacius Maximus. Every day, so now, for instance, you hear, so like this, you have screenshots of Elon versus, Tesla Q nonsense, and that's like posted, and it's funny because it's like maximum kek for the Tesla Q in a sense, and I just read their background. Cacius Maximus. It's just funny as shit. I love it so much. Anyways, welcome all to the conversation. Please post the space with join the conversation so more people can in fact know that the space is here. We got a lot of things that we want to cover. Mostly going to be tech-based today. Of course, the standard routine of repeating obvious lies is not stopping and in fact expanding, just like I predicted it would. So, with that in mind, we're not going to focus on any of that bullshit whatsoever. I think that's all completely unnecessary and extremely irrelevant because remember what I said yesterday about, zombie horses. I feel as though at the moment people are trying to beat this dead horse. This horse is very much so dead, but the difference is, it's so dead now. As a matter of fact, it's coming back, and so now you're basically dealing with zombie horses. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to we don't want to deal with zombie horses, but these guys want to deal with zombie horses. So that is kind of what we have now. So nice.
Yeah. Congrats on 200K followers, by the way. That's epic.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Well deserved.
It was a while to get there. Pretty cool. Nice. I didn't think that it was going to happen. I think the last time was a couple months ago, actually. Yeah, it was almost. I think it was towards the end of the month before August. So yeah.
Yeah, it's accelerating.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. And I'm already a K over that, so there's that. I did not think it was going to be that soon. Somebody said, oh, hey, eventually it's going to be 200K. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to take a while. Well, I guess not. So, yeah, in this case, and I've seen a bunch of stuff going around. There's this one video of, a dragon, dragon drone display. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who notices this, but that shit's fake. That video is fake. You can clearly see that it's an overlay, actually. And you can see that it is 3 different videos overlaid. One video is the drone display of the dragon, the other one is the drone display where the fireworks are coming down, and then the background video where there is the tower that's blinking. So it looks to be 3 overlaid videos. So it's bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. And everybody's reposting it like mad. I'm like, bro, do you not see that? Do you not see how the tower itself is moving independently of the very many drones. Like, as if the drones were stationary, but the tower is moving. Given that that's not possible, like, what?
Yeah, I didn't see that one yet, but yeah, I'll keep an eye out.
We'll see.
Another interesting thing that's happening is Linda Yaccarino announced she's launching X Money in 2025, so that's gonna be a big deal.
So I think X Money is gonna be then the thing that's X Payments, I suppose.
Yes.
Would look more like it. Lord Miles reposted a thing where the Sun posted in June of 2016. Yeah, it was in June of 2016. There was like an article that was written by the Sun where it says, revealed, woman will be having more sex with robots than men by 2025. And I'm like, this is technically accurate, but not in the way that these people were thinking initially. I'm not sure if they consider the fact that they are very basic type of robots that are not all humanoid or even somewhat impressive in nature, other than the fact that they're this type of engine that keeps repeating a very specific type of movement that then creates vibration. So
It's
I'm not sure.
what I posted.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, the only reason why I'm saying this is because of that meme, which is very, very true. I just realized, I was like, wait a minute, that meme is actually very, very good. Yeah. At this point, I think like one of the best ways to get news is like memes or just like realizations themselves. It's just memes at this point. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Memes are great. It's great.
X Spaces has some sort of beef with me right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It was horrible yesterday. Couldn't get you on stage.
Yeah, you look like a listener.
Let's try that again. If that doesn't work, just like send instructions to Belize and he'll be the one that brings you up.
Okay, I'm up.
That's nice. Awesome. Cool stuff. Again, everybody, quote post these spaces, join the conversation so more people can see that the space is here and that we're live. And yeah, it's a bit of a different day today. I'm pretty sure the activity is a little lower. Many people are out there. They're celebrating New Year's. New Year's is about to happen, by the way, so it's pretty cool. My Central Standard, I think going a bit more East Coast here. It's going to happen in a few hours. But yeah, it's going to be nice. And Happy New Year's, everyone.
Yeah.
Some of us are already in the future, I think. If we're like having international coverage, then some of us are already in the future, which means that 2025 is already there for them. Because, time zones, right? So once you cross that, yeah, you're basically in the future. Okay, Oda, are you able to bring people up?
Yeah. Can you check your DM?
Sure. Oh my fucking god. No, I don't think we're... No, I don't know. I don't know. How about no? By the way, I'm eating some steak right now. Actually, I was almost finished with eating, and then the time just like caught up with me. Because I usually do this where I cook something an hour before, I host the spaces so that the meat is nice and fresh. So usually I eat it during or a little bit before the space. In this case, I was like peering through a lot of media, doing a bit of posting and such. So I was unable to, eat the food. But yeah, I ate a lot of steak actually. These are 2 steaks at the moment. I normally have 3, but they're a bit thicker than normal. So they basically are the volume of the normal 3. So yeah, getting my daily steak in. How about you, Belize? Have you made your steak yet?
Not yet. Probably gonna start cooking that in about an hour or a little bit less. But yeah, I got some nice 1-inch thick sirloins. So yeah, that's gonna be nice.
Pretty decent.
My husband's making steak for us right now, actually.
Steak synchronicity. I will say the stakes are very high. Okay, Auda, by the way, is in charge of bringing people up. So, yes. Alright. some things right now. Oh. Yesterday I had like a what the fuck is this? I just saw like a strange meme. You know, there's this great song. There goes, that's Strange Magic. In this case, what I've looked at is strange memes. But it's a nice song, by the way. I highly recommend people listen to it. It's from ELO.
Died. But I'm in Taiwan, so I'm in the future.
Right, so you're in 2025. See, I fucking knew it, man. We're gonna have somebody in here that's gonna be from the future for sure. What if I already am in the future? Your phone already says 2025, so yeah. How was celebration over there in Taiwan?
Honestly, I slept through it. I didn't do anything last night.
Gotcha.
But they do usually launch fireworks off of Taipei 101, which is pretty cool looking. And Taipei 101 in general is like a pretty awesome building.
Isn't that this big tower?
Yeah, it was the tallest in the world for a little while. It looks like it's like Chinese style, like a pagoda. It's really cool looking.
It's a
And
big, beautiful
it's like
tower.
designed like in a pretty interesting way because Taiwan has a bunch of earthquakes. It has like, I'm not really sure how to describe it, but just like some sort of ball at the center of it, which is designed to keep it from toppling over if they have a crazy earthquake.
Right.
You know, talking about actual time travel, it might be possible according to the equations that we have right now, but I think the object needs to kind of move towards the speed of light. But I mean, even if that happens, the mass changes to energy. So I don't know, but you know, we could technically travel into the future.
So, to follow up on that, there's a 660-ton steel sphere at the core of Taipei 101, and it's designed to kind of like to be a counterbalance versus both wind and shaking caused by earthquakes. 660 tons, pretty cool.
Nice. So it's like, I don't think we will be screwing robots. Do they even have a penis? Well, as per the no, we're not going to get into that.
Some are just a penis.
Yes. Right. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Alright, Laura, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So, what brings you by?
I just, you told me that you wanted me to join more of your spaces. So I'm a consistent person. So
Perhaps, but like there has to be reasons.
I came back to listen.
Well, I mean, you don't normally come into a speaker panel unless you want to speak.
Yeah, I told Auda, I said I wanted to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Alright, okay, and
to remind everybody that the safest place that you could be tonight is at home on your couch because there's lots of drunk drivers. So that's all I wanted to say.
Gotcha.
How do you guys do year in reviews? Like, how do you approach determining what New Year's resolutions you're going to have for 2025 if you guys even do this?
I don't have any.
I don't believe in New Year's resolutions.
I have it's different. I have this kind of thing that I just project out there into the world that I'd like to somehow happen. It's like a meme almost. I set I set like the tone for every single year by what I'd like to see most within it, not just like for myself, but for everyone else. That's like why I have the pinned post there.
I think New Year's resolutions are like a guaranteed failure.
Yep.
Like, if you need to wait until the end of the year to kind of come up with something, and then next year start it, if it is genuinely going to improve your life, you should set a goal and start it now. You shouldn't just wait until, I'm going to wait until the next year, and then I'm going to start it, and I'm going to set all these giant goals all at once. You need to start small. You need to start now. New Year's resolutions are...
I agree. It's just another day. I don't even get why people get so excited about it. I don't really like, I don't know. When it comes to holidays or New Year's, I just care. It's just another day for me, you know? It's like, shit, different day.
I have an
But there is like some logic to it, right? Because your past 2 weeks are leading up to it. There's like a lot of time off.
A lot of it's very
Offers you an opportunity to like review what you've done in the past 12 months, or at least some time to contemplate.
I think people should be contemplating 24/7.
Yeah, that's true. There's some truth to that. But at the end of the year, you have like more time to do so.
You know? Like, you should always be thinking about your life and like where you want to be, and I don't know. It's just like, it's very hokey, you know, like, oh, let's look back on the year and think about what we're going to do for the next year. Should be doing that every single day.
I like to take it from the Chinese approach. My plans are measured in centuries. It is actually. A lot of stuff that I put into action reverberates to history, sure. It has immediate results. Immediate can be defined as anything from like tomorrow or maybe even in a year. And more so distant results are not just decades, but could be centuries depending on how drastic the impact. So it always depends. It's about how mimetic you are, because if you're in every person's history book, that's when you've made it. You just got to be in history for the right reasons. Yeah.
How did you determine what meme to kind of post or pin that you wanted to manifest into 2025?
Wait, say it again?
So you said, sorry for the background noise, my kids are back there, but you said that you kind of selected a meme that you wanted to manifest into 2025, not only for yourself, but for other people. Did that just emerge from your mind without you contemplating it deliberately, or was it something
what I wanted? I look at what is really needed in reality. What's really, really needed right now, and it's that post right there. We need to, like, there's this problem where authoritarians, they can be defined as almost anything. They don't have to be politicians or people in positions of power when it comes to governance, but actually in positions of power in terms of influence. It could be anyone. Authoritarians are often like these types of people that believe they are, they are an authority on something. Say, for instance, if you were to gather a large amount of influence, and you then believe you get to dictate how things go because you have a certain image, even though this image is no longer, compatible with the rest of the world, you want to make the rest of the world compatible to you now. So you then, therefore, switch from just becoming a basic authoritarian to a dictator at some point. And I've seen that shift was taking place on X, and to a certain extent is still happening, because certain people have opinions and assertions that no longer really scale up to today. This is why you have terms like, the woke riot and things like that coming out, which are, that's just a result. And this is even before all the woke riot shit came out. I already knew that something like this was going to happen. You can kind of feel the temperature, and like you can kind of hear the ambient electricity in the air because it started to spark at your fingers right before the lightning strikes. Of course, don't do that if you. But it's just an example, right? So the tension is there. Everything is charged. There's just a little bit of potential that makes it discharge in an instant and turns you to fucking fried chicken. Now, with that in mind, I saw this and I said, how about we set the stage?
what is needed so that the impact could be softened, because we know it's going to happen. So I thought that. So if we truly consider merit to be the thing that's needed most as a part of what comes next, then I think what we've seen over the last couple of days illustrates exactly who has and does not have merit, for instance. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a position of power to some degree, and the chance that they will become an authoritarian if they start losing this power is nigh 100%. And so as such, it would make sense that you to become liberated from people who are not just authoritarians, but basically ignorant fools that then become the authoritarians. And this could be anyone, on any side, in any place, doesn't matter. But you can't see it in this vast information vector space that is X.com. And so I thought, I might put this out there in hopes that it happens. You know, may you be free. You know, may you be liberated. Because that liberation from the claws of the liar, the authoritarian, is needed more than ever. That's why I put it out there. And it's not just a thing that I want for myself. It's a thing that I think was needed. It's a bit different. You know, you look at New Year's resolutions, it's a thing that you want for yourself. Well, what if it's a thing that is needed in this like gigantic space, even though it be for yourself, it could be for you personally or for your community or anything, or it could be a very large impact. That's what you have to consider. It's not a resolution. It is a statement that comes from hope that need for this thing to exist, like this need is addressed. Something like that. Because look, if for an example, as an example for ignorant fools, there's a lot of people that I otherwise would have thought were, you know, somewhat intelligent, saying things like, oh hey, let's deport Peter Thiel or Elon or something like that. That is remarkably stupid. And so these people are extremely influential, of course. And so they are the ignorant fools that kind of oppress everyone that's underneath them, in a sense. You know, they're the influencer. That is a big problem. And if that is not dealt with, it just basically goes out of control, and then there are fires everywhere. And we've seen this. We've seen this over the last couple of days. We've seen this exact thing happening. Then everybody is at each other's throats, and nobody knows what's going on. And then the people who cry censorship are then the people who harass other people that have different opinions into censoring themselves. Now you're just maximizing irony in all the wrong ways. That's what's happening right now. This is the aftermath. There will be a lot of losers, actually, of this.
So it's not just a question of it whether or not it's more needed now than ever. It seems like this year, like now, there's more of a possibility for this thing to occur.
Exactly.
Like,
it just needs a little
decentralized payments, social media, which is freer. Like, there's more of an opportunity for people who have merit to rise above authoritarians now than ever, it seems.
Mm-hmm. It just needed a little bit of a push. Like, it's already there. Like, normally when I engage with something, it's already there to a certain extent. There's like this potential, like I said, there's a static electricity that's in the air, and you can hear it just buzzing at your fingertips because it's waiting to arc and ground. So you're trying to interface with it somehow, and you're trying to push it. Of course, in this case, I actually so happen to be wearing something that turns me into a Faraday cage, and so I don't end up as cooked chicken.
So I think that's a pretty important thing to figure out in life, right? Because you don't want to push against things that are you need to find those, what am I trying to say? You need to find the areas where your push can actually affect a change that is much greater than what you yourself can do. You know what I mean? Like, you need to find the ball that's on the edge of the cliff that just needs one extra person's strong push in order to get it to roll down the cliff. You don't want to be rolling balls uphill. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But sometimes you can roll a ball uphill. I think that's even important sometimes. It just depends on how steep the hill and the reward of rolling the ball over that hill. It depends. Some things are genuinely like that. They have a certain inclination. The ball is of a certain weight. You have the strength. So, but the gains of you pushing it up that hill and just getting it over the hill somehow are incredible. If you look at the people who work really hard on something, it's like that.
Right, but so that's kind of what life's all about. It's alternating between the balls that the boulder you're trying to push uphill, which is a life's quest, versus which boulders are on the edge of the cliff that I can push over right now, and then kind of like figuring out where to place your bets.
In my case, this post is more so I'm on the edge of a hill. There's a bunch of balls that are available to me, and I can push one of them down and watch as it goes down the valley. That's kind of what that is. That's kind of what that was.
Yeah, I look at this almost in a, obviously by training, I'm in the biological sciences. That's actually, a discipline that I'm in. So I kind of look at it more so as, and, it starts out a little rough, but, think about your opportunities or, the ideas or the change that you're wanting to sow in the world as a virus. And typically, viruses have a couple of cells they can interact with. You can usually interact with a resistant cell, which in that case, the virus is going to penetrate and not make any sort of change whatsoever because cell does not have the right locks, coatings, or, just sort of permissibility for the virus to interact. But then you have permissive cells, which are cells where, again, if a virus were to essentially interact with it, what would end up happening is that the virus could technically affect change because it does have the sort of locks, but just not in the actual quantity for the virus to basically hijack. Now, cells in this case will be people. So we're talking about, you being, essentially the progenitor of the virus being your ideas and your influence, and the cells being the people. Now, we've already did the resistant, we've already did the permissive. Now you have susceptible cells. These are essentially units that are perfect opportunities for you to essentially or I guess in case of the metaphor, for the virus to essentially seed its influence. And, it's very much a ripe environment to where if you can get it to start churning, it will pay big dividends. But the thing is, it's still not necessarily permissive. And then finally, you have permissive and susceptible cells. These are the perfect environment. That's what we're looking for in life. We're looking for that susceptible and permissive environment because that requires the least amount of effort and energy for us to essentially spread whatever influence or idea that we have and get the ball rolling. Naturally, you're not going to find very many, because every virus, every idea, just kind of switch back to more realistic. Every idea that we have is unique in some sense, or it's individualized. You're not always going to have an idea that's going to meet with a large number of susceptible and permissive environments for it to be spread. So that's up for you to sort of develop, just going back into the metaphor, develop being your virus in a way that you can basically have a greater number of opportunities to spread it in environments where it will make the biggest amount of difference. And that's really, that just comes down to the individual. And that's where, developing yourself as a person comes in.
So basically what you're saying is like you have this, you want to improve yourself, but you're infecting yourself with like a mimetic mind virus?
Yeah, we're talking about it. And actually, mimetics is a great way to sort of think about this, just sort of, especially on social media. I mean, everything that we spread, it's spread medically in some kind of way. So, you're looking for people, you're looking for your clusters, your groups to essentially spread, your ideas, your reach, your influence, whatever you're marketing or selling. You're looking for the perfect receptacles for it, where you're not going to be just sort of, pissing in the wind for months.
More so you're looking for a host. Because the idea has to propagate somehow. It's like whenever I put an idea out there, I want it to propagate, so I put it in a very specific host. Let's imagine if it's just an idea, or it's a populist idea, you put it in the noisiest host. That's why, like, for instance, there's this misconception that a very particular type of debate has occurred here on the platform that kind of outshone a different debate. You know, like, say, for instance, there was... How do I explain this? You know, thanks to the platform manipulation of the Groypers, for instance, right? You have a negatively skewed perception of the conversation, I think, which then, of course, has caused a lot of problems, if you really think about it this way. So, in a sense, that is like a virus where, say, these individuals, though they may not necessarily be the majority, they are in fact a minority, are the noisiest. So infect them with something that makes them very noisy so they can spread whatever that infection is. So that is an infection by in terms of the medic mind virus, right? So, you know, for people who are going to be recording this, because I already know they are recording this, that is a metaphor, and if you cannot understand what a metaphor is, then I pity the mind that you have.
Exactly. But no, that's actually perfect. And, you know, you got to look at, like I said, if you had a message that resonated with the Groypers, let's say your mimetic virus that you're spreading is one that, you know, is perfect for people that have been disaffected, you know, blame minorities, or, you know, for whatever reason, things are outside of their locus of control and they feel like their land and everything
they have a problem, by the way. They have an interesting problem. They have an interesting problem, by the way. So normally what you'd want, if you wanted to, say, retain dominance over a particular region physically, you'd want to either have the most control by force in terms of the way that you basically spread it around. You can even be a smaller number in comparison to the thing that you're trying to suppress. And there you go. If you have the most force and you are able to apply that force correctly, then, you know, your number doesn't really matter as much, unless, of course, you have a massive uprising, but you can kind of, you know, call that. But in their case, what they have is a massive problem. They want to reproduce. You need to reproduce, right? So instead of them reproducing physically, they like to reproduce by mind virus. So, for instance, you can turn a normal person into something like a Groyper, right? So that is kind of their goal, I think, because instead of them saying, okay, we have a bunch of accusations here, we have a bunch of assessments as well, but more so we have the assessments, and we're going to say, we're being invaded, or we're being, like, you know, replaced. And in actuality, to stop, you know, your replacement, you'd want to actually reproduce more than those who can replace you. So instead of doing that, they say, we cannot actually physically replace because we're too fucking dumb to do so. Then we're going to basically replace everyone by taking over people's brains via a mind virus. They're almost like a cordyceps fungus, where they take like this weird idea of the way that the world works and they put it into everything, and they put it into everyone, and that then just like turns people into absolute fucking NPCs. They don't think they're the NPCs, but they definitely turn into NPCs. And the reason why I know this is because, like, I mean, hey, how many times have I gotten like kill yourself messages from these people, right? There's a bit of a problem. So if you have that, then, you know, you're reproducing by taking over people's minds, as opposed to reproducing by, you know, using your DNA and implanting that within, you know, suitable, you know, female growing thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's pretty much it. And, you know, they just use certain happenings.
Like, I'm not trying to insult anyone. Like, that's another thing. I'm not trying to insult anyone. I'm just trying to make the most logical assessments. If I wanted to insult people, then I'd basically do the thing that I did a couple days ago on Spaces, and that is, in response to being called a supremacist, you know, I just called myself the most smooth-brained individual there. You know, likening the smoothness of my brain to like these spheres, these silicon-based spheres, which are so polished and so precise that they're used to measure whether or not a kilogram is a true kilogram. Right? That's how smooth my brain is. Yeah, that's what I said to them. Yeah, that's an insult. It really grinds a lot of gears.
I mean, it's disarming. That's the thing. When people want to attack you, when they think that you have a high opinion of yourself, so they want to attack that. But if you show that your opinion of yourself is very much fluid, loose, and you don't really care about it, then, I mean, you deprive them of vector of attack.
Yeah, like, I don't have any political siding or anything. I'm like this thing that exists above the Sire player. You know, I'm not even on the alignment chart. You know, people want to try and put you on an alignment chart or something. The actual game for me is to be above the alignment chart, be outside of it somehow, right? Because I don't want to be part of it, because that means that I have some sort of stake, and that means that I'm somewhat dependent on something. I like to be independent. Truly independent means you cannot be, you know, aligned with anything in a sense other than your own principles. And if other people so happen to be aligned with your principles, then they're basically on the same layer/level as you, right? So it makes it look very politically ambiguous. Like for me, I will have no problem trashing the left or the right in much the same way. I don't care, right? Because I don't have an allegiance with either one of them. I'm just a person who is on my own, causes a lot of chaos when people lie, and, you know, sets the record straight whenever it needs to be set straight.
That's very Koji Fushiguro of you. Yeah, being the one that left it all behind. I mean, I get none, and I think especially of nowadays. I mean, I've come to that realization that again, having no binding ties is honestly one of the best ways to be able to see and understand the world from a variety of viewpoints. Like take the H-1B discussion. You know, I've essentially debated with myself multiple times for both sides. You know, both sides have a compelling point, but they can't put the points together to get the full picture of what needs to be done because they're too busy trying to be tethered to their own individual points. And so that kind of goes back to the idea of, you know, again, which message has the most permissible and susceptible targets or permissive and susceptible targets to be sown. And I mean, when you're doing that, you're just playing a numbers game. You're just essentially trying to infect as many people, but there's no real resolution that's reached because at the end of the day, you're going to hit a mathematical stalemate in a way where both sides will cancel each other out. The pro H-1B people will cancel out the anti-H-1B people unless by some stretch of the imagination you get a mathematic, you know, sort of a mathematical...
No, I disagree with that. It's more like a pendulum. No, it's more like a pendulum, and people's... The noise is like forced out inertia. Really, that's kind of how I see that. Because if you look at all of this, it's just basically like a pendulum. You're trying to somehow shift things constantly, and so when it comes to like a pendulum at the moment, you can look at it from the political alignment perspective, right? Everything swings back and forth, and you have things that specific political movements want to achieve that is attached to this thing that swings back and forth. So in this case, what they're trying to do is they're basically trying to swing the pendulum really far back the other way. So before you had, okay, let's let everybody in, and then it goes to, let's let nobody in. That's the problem when you have a dysfunctional system that overcorrection appears, right? So say, for instance, in the first inning, there was a perception of, oh, hey, we got to let people in. Okay, cool. So let's overcorrect and let everybody in. Ooh, that doesn't work. Okay, let's kick everybody out and let nobody in. That's not how any of that fucking shit works. You want to kick out some of the people that are illegal, if not all the people that are illegal, that are illegal in the U.S., and then basically set the pendulum more so to the center where everything is balanced. Stuff will still swing. It's perfectly fine. That will always happen because that's how chaos works. But you have to keep it balanced, because if you don't, you'll swing too far in either direction, and then disaster is caused. There's massive instability, turmoil, riots, economic collapse, that sort of thing, which is exactly what we've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean that's evidence of a broken system. If your system can't be fine-tuned,
I doubt that the system is broken. I think it's just, it's like like this. Imagine that you have a let's imagine a printer. Printer has to like output ink onto a piece of paper, and it has to do so very precisely. In doing so, it needs to be calibrated, has a controller, has all this kind of stuff. If it is not calibrated properly, you'll think that the printer is broken, but it is not broken. It is just improperly calibrated. In this case, I think the system is much like such a printer, where it is not broken at all, it is actually improperly calibrated. That's how I see this. Like, for instance, this is why a lot of people are adopting this weird mantra of break the matrix. They think that the matrix is this kind of system that they exist in, which is technically true. And so instead of shaping that system into doing something that's actually positive, because it had been positive at some point, otherwise you'd have no need to break it, they just say, oh, hey, we're going to break it, we're just going to keep breaking shit. That has never done anything good at all. If you'd like to have an example of breaking a system, okay, hey, let's go break capitalism real quick and put socialism in its place. Guess what you're going to have then? Absolute fucking poverty, hunger, and a black market that pops up to basically, correct for the nonsense of socialism, or even communism to a certain extent. Ironically enough, if you look at this, the idea of trying to shape a system in a specific area, like calibrate it, China is a great example of this, I think, because China is essentially communist, but what they're doing is they are a communist-capitalist hybrid. They have to be somewhat capitalist, because if they're not, then the whole economy just dies. Right? So it's like entirely dependent on the West and various elements in Asia itself. So if they don't have that, then of course everything goes to shit. So I don't think the system is actually broken. I think the assertion is improper. I think the system is just miscalibrated. That's it.
Yeah. So I'd say, would you say the system is less? I'd say, would you say that it's just a less wieldy system if it can't be calibrated easily by the people who typically have to use it, and therefore,
I mean, the people have to use it. It's not really the people have to use it. It is the people have to calibrate it, because they're two different people, right? So you have the consumer, the person that's in the system that has to be treated well by it. you're almost like the piece of paper that needs to be printed on by the benefits of whatever the system is. The benefits of the system are then the ink in this metaphor. So if you consider it from that perspective, then the calibration, it's like you have to put people in there, good people. And that's what's happening right now. And then it all fixes itself, and it's great. It's nice. And to an extent, it's almost like you are trying to play a video game. If you've ever tried to play a video game, there's a few things that you do in order to make the game run properly. So say, for instance, okay, I have this problem where if I expand the game to maximum, then my frame rate goes to shit. Okay, let me keep it windowed. What if I can just squeeze it a little bit and adjust the window so that the max amount of, the best field of view. Okay, perfect, we got that. Okay, frame rate is nice, but it keeps dropping a little bit because we don't have enough computer resources. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lower a few things over here so that the frame rate is nice and maxi, but we don't want to have the visuals be too low because otherwise it's going to look like shit. In a sense, this is kind of what the system looks like because you have limited resources, you have a shitty situation, and you're going to have to make do with what you have at the moment by calibrating it properly so that the game runs on it as effectively as it can. Because you're also going to have to live stream that video game, of course, right? So you're going to have to account for that as well. And you have to say, oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do that? And then once you're finished with that, you can actually run this game, and it runs properly, and it's good. But there's more. There's actually a lot more. Right. In the future, then, let's imagine that the game streaming works, everything plays well, and you are able to pull this off for a considerable period of time. Eventually, now you're able to buy more compute. You're able to buy better compute, and now streaming itself is better. Everything functions better. But you can only do that once you've used the existing system to basically get more audience and get more donations, blah blah blah, whatever. Well, so you can look at it from the streamer perspective. It's like that. Imagine you're like the streamer with a dog shit setup, and you have to make do with the setup that you have, and then you cultivate an audience, people in that basically fund the ability for you to upgrade that system. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now, because it's not a broken system, it's a miscalibrated system, and you don't have that much compute, so it's just like way out of whack because a fucking noob sat at the computer and said, I want more frame rate, cool, I'm going to dial it up, but I also want more quality, fuck it, let's just put the quality to max. Oh, frame rate go to shit. Well, we can make do with what that is, and then the gameplay just fucking sucks and everything goes to hell. So that is kind of how I see the current system. Also, by the way, Blythe, are you bringing people up, or is that Autos bringing people up?
That would be Auto. It's me.
Okay.
Last time, Blythe touched letting someone up, it perma-fucks mine. Mine was fucked too. I don't think it was just me. Like, I couldn't bring people up either. I think the whole system was just shitty that day, glitchy.
Yeah, everything is broken in some capacity. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy New Year. It's been a minute.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Very nice. So, what's up, man? Oh, you're making the theme song, are you?
Yeah, dude, I'm working on 2 different versions. I'll probably send them over to you later tonight. I've been
nice
on it nonstop.
Thanks, man. It's gonna be great. This is the guy who's gonna create a bit of a theme. So every show needs to have a theme song of some kind. So I thought, hey, I know one indie musician who's really, really good. So let's have this guy make a theme song for me. He's also the guy who created the music that you hear in the last 2 edits that I've done, the integrated flight tests. So it's like, IFT4, no, sorry, not IFT4, IFT5 and 6. We did both those. Very nice. Actually, 5 is my favorite because the booster was caught that day. I even reposted that saying it's like, the top moment for me, in 2024 for like aerospace, because it's absolutely insane. This has never been done before by like anyone. So it's wild. Here's the video, by the way. I'm going to pin it in this space so people can look at it if they'd like. See, this shit is inspiring. This is what people should look at. It's like, wow, we need more of this. And by the way, the person who has optimized the corporate system, that is that company that made this thing, is going to be the person who will use Doge in order to make the government itself more efficient. So you'd imagine, if they're capable of doing this, making this happen, what could something like Doge do? What could it do? It's all about recalibration. It's not about ending an existing system. People don't understand this. You're not supposed to end any system whatsoever, unless, of course, it really does need to be deleted. Like some processes just need to be deleted, right? That's inevitable. But not every single process. I think when people say, okay, the system, they're just basically taking all these major things and mixing them up with a bunch of smaller things. Some of the smaller things should, in fact, be deleted, but they're making the smaller things, which have all the issues, look like as if it was the whole system, which it is not. It's bullshit. It's complete fucking bullshit. You have the wrong enemy here. It's like an immune system that tries to deal with the invader, but instead of dealing with the invader, it says, I am the enemy myself. And so then you have an immune system that just attacks itself. And that is a real fucking problem. You know, you don't want to turn yourself into like you don't want to have like the autoimmune disease on like a system level for government. That's going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that really addresses the accelerationist issue. And that's really where we kind of get into that. Accelerationists tend to be people who just lack the foresight or the ability to see within the system to understand the broken form
at all, actually.
No, I disagree. The accelerationists are a bit different. They actually have this they have like this goal in mind of a particular future that they want to have, and then they basically try to get there as fast as possible. You know, this is the thing. Like when you take a decision in life where you're about to develop something or build something, you take the first step. First step is a little slow. Then you take the second, the third, the fourth, and so forth, so forth. And then eventually, you know, one day you're just really walking, then you're jogging, and then you're running. These guys just want to start running right away. Even if you're going to stumble a little bit, they're going to catch themselves along the way. And that's kind of like what the accelerationist movement seems to be. And I like the accelerationist movement. It's good. It needs a little bit of balance. You know, sometimes you need to stop and, you know, look around and smell the flowers or, you know, do whatever you need to do. But realistically speaking, I don't think you should, like, you know, trash talk it. I disagree with that assessment.
In certain, yeah. I guess more so the accelerations that want to just destroy everything and restart over.
That's not an acceleration. That's not an accelerationist. That's a doomer of the worst kind.
Yeah.
Fucking banana. That's fucking suicide. I mean, like, keep it to yourself. Fuck that shit. I don't want no part of it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, anarchists are almost a little bit different. I was an anarcho-capitalist for the beginning end.
It's like the people who want to like go back to like return to monk.
Return to monkey.
Return to monkey.
Okay. Yeah, but political acceleration is.
I mean, hey man, sometimes I laugh like a monkey. This is absolutely true. Whenever I get super fucking, whenever I encounter a situation that's extremely ridiculous, the monkey laugh just comes out of me. If you ever like watched me play video games, I sometimes have this like monkey laugh that just comes out for no reason, like that.
We have a sound clip on Discord of that. It's hilarious.
Yes, sir.
It's terrifying.
You guys play some Wukong?
That is not terrifying. That is not terrifying. The other thing is terrifying. You know exactly what I'm talking about, by the way. Mommy, feed me. That one.
That one.
Oh my god.
I just said that for no fucking reason. I was just like sitting there in the server, talking, looking at some random stuff, and then I like, you know, the deep sarcastic voice started coming out. I was like, and I did that. Because why not?
Well, it's because Auda asked me how to eat the sauce with his steak.
Right. Yeah, that's where that came from.
Dip it in, and you were like, "Do you need her to feed you?"
Exactly. Yeah. And then I said, "Here's what Auda's gonna say, mommy, mommy, feed me."
Hold on, wait. Let me defend myself. Oh
my god.
So I was ordering some food, and Freckled mentioned some sauce I had never heard of before, so I got that. And I'm like, and then it arrived, and then I'm like, do I like put this on it? Do I dip it in it? Like, what the fuck do I do with it? And then what they're describing happened.
And that shit lives in my nightmares.
What do you mean nightmares?
She's referring to specifically my voice, by the way. That voice. Yes.
Okay, I see.
It makes sense. I'd fear that too.
By the way, I brought this guy up, the United Spots. Welcome.
Hey, how are you? And thank you for having me. Happy New Year to everybody. These are great spaces. I really enjoy listening to them. You guys bring a lot of positive energy, which is great for a lot of people out there that might be struggling and going through it. It's always a great place to have a community where you can go to relax and laugh and enjoy life a little bit, and it doesn't have to be so serious all the time. So I just wanted to honestly say thank you guys for doing what you do. You know, there's a lot of people out there that do this for the money. A lot of people do it because they have an actual passion for it, and I think that the people that do this from their heart, I think it just comes off a little bit more personal and really amazing. So I hope everybody has an amazing new year, and remember to laugh and enjoy your life, because It goes by real fast. So laugh as much as you possibly can and enjoy your life and make each moment count. And thank you, Adrian and Blythe and Howda. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. That's nice. Yeah, like there's for spaces themselves, spaces aren't monetized, by the way, unless you get them sponsored, which you have to disclose, by the way. There's really no way to monetize them, so spaces are basically kind of like charity in a sense when it comes to time and intelligence. Like they're a great thing to farm for clips, I think, which is really great. And we have a lot of clippable moments out of the space, that's for sure. And the Gorpers are a great example of this. But an even better example is like someone like Blythe and Rex Spaces like makes a lot of good clips. That kind of stuff, I think that's really nice. So from that perspective, it actually gives everybody else the opportunity to make bank if they would. And it's not like, because imagine if you have really good moments of a space like that and you put it out there, people are going to realize, oh shit, hey, something has happened in that space. These spaces are all unrecorded, by the way. So like some people are going to make clips of them, after the fact, and it's going to be like, oh hey, you get extra engagement for yourself. And you can even like say, if you wanted to clip moments of the space, you can post them in the accelerationist community that I have, which is like pinned in my profile there. You see that it says XAC. I will change the branding a little bit over time, but if you'd like to, and you have like clips of the space or something like that, post them there directly. So like directly post into the community, don't quote post into it, and read the rules, because the rules are enforced with an iron fist. Like legit. Zero mercy.
Yeah. Hey, Adrian, I think it'd be cool to let people know how long you've been doing this consecutively.
Right.
And the power of that consistency, for the algorithm.
Yeah. Like, of course, you've seen that my account was created in 2021. I only started actively doing this in like 2023. I've done spaces practically, but at the beginning, I did it at the frequency of once a week, then twice, 3 times, 4 or 5 days, eventually 7 days. I used to have spaces which went on for like 8 to 10 hours. Then eventually I had to stop doing that because I was getting very busy. At like a period of time where I didn't do any spaces at all. I only appeared on other people's spaces for a while because I had some stuff that I needed to do. And then eventually I decided, I got to get back into spaces. And I started the thing that's called the information space for a while. And then I decided, that name is kind of cheesy, so I'm going to dump it for something else. And then I decided we're going to opt in to call it the conversation. I wanted to make like the brand change. And I did. This like happened after the Donald Trump space, for instance. So like, there was a space with Donald Trump and then all the other spaces crashed and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, hey, great time to rebrand actually. And since then, we called it the conversation space. But I've been doing this practically for years. I've always been here. We've had these spaces for years. It's not really something that is new. It is only now that many people are seeing it. And it's actually good that many more eyes are on this, because now we get to talk about the things that we want to talk about and more people get to hear it. We do goof around a little bit from time to time. So if you hear us say some remarkably ridiculous shit, it's very bad. Okay, but we do not just a little bit of trolling, we do a lot of trolling. Again, you're talking to the guy who went on a space and called himself Super Smooth Brain. Okay? This has to be something you have to expect.
Oh yeah,
that will happen.
I wasn't there for that one.
I posted a picture of some very nice tits.
Oh my fucking god! He's referring to birds, by the way. I just happen to be called that.
Yeah, there's a bird called the tits, and I posted a picture of 2 of them, and I said nice tits.
This fucking guy has done nothing but post chaos on the timeline. By the way, has Andrew Tate continued the chaos thing on you by any chance?
No.
So it seemed to have only been like a one-off. It was a funny one-off, though.
He's been very generous. He's been very generous.
Nice.
He could have wreaked havoc. I've already had like a few people DM me thinking that I'm him. Basically DMing me, right? Because they know they won't reach him on the Andrew Tate account. So they thought, if I DM him on his alt account, he might see it. So I've already had a few people like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone say I was Elon's AI banned, and I'm like, what the hell is going on, man?
That's a nice one, actually. That's a good one.
We're like, is that why I see your ads everywhere? You must be his band or something. Like, go
wow. Hey, that's actually pretty good. What if you were Elon's band, but you're Adrian's band instead?
Yeah, at this point, we're just going to do dead internet theory, but it's all Elon Musk, and that's going to
Yeah,
be
everybody's okay. So somebody has also accused my friend here, Auda, and me of being an Indian. We're both Indians apparently as well. So it seems to these people,
Wow.
everyone is either Elon, an Indian, or what's the other stuff? I can't really tell. It seems to be only these two things primarily, and Andrew
You
Tate,
said I'm Elon.
Andrew and or Tristan Tate. Okay, like
Or
that's what the
Ian.
internet's made out
Or
of now.
Ian.
Or Ian Miles Chung. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, a lot of people are Ian Miles Chung for reasons I don't
Yeah.
understand.
They said I'm
Seems to be a
Ryan
thing.
Gosling or Elon. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling.